Hey everyone, it's Joe from TheTechSlugs, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about controlling money-making devices from anywhere. Alright, so this topic is going to be split up into 3 different parts. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about controlling money-making computers, and in the next 2 videos, I will be talking about controlling iOS and Android devices. But before I get into a few methods in controlling money-making computers, I'm going to tell you the obvious benefits to this. So we have money-making routines, at least you should. I have a money-making routine whereby I use my devices 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once at night. And in order to use your money-making devices, you have to be there with your money-making devices. And this can be a problem because let's say you're out at an abnormal time in the day, or let's say you're going on vacation. None of us want to take 15 phones or 3 money-making computers with us on vacation. I had taken a few devices on one vacation with me, but it was way more of a hassle than it should have been. There's conflicts with that because you don't know what the internet's going to be like when you get there most of the time. There's also conflicts with using it from another IP address that could be in a different state or even another country. Obviously, it's a problem. So you have 3 options when these kinds of things occur and you can't make it to your devices at the designated times during the day. A, you can lose money. Okay, we don't want to do that. B, you can drive home and actually use your devices. Well, that's very inconvenient if you're out during the day. It's an impossible if you're on vacation. Or C, you could remote control your devices no matter where you are. All you need is an internet connection. And these days we have smartphones with LTE connections. If you're in a place with a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can connect through that. I've done this myself. It's absolutely beautiful. You have complete freedom. We actually went on a vacation ever since I started doing this in the past couple months. And it was just 3 times a day I'd connect for a few minutes to take care of things. Very smooth. And today we're going to talk about doing it with computers. So the first option I have for you is the simple option, and it's just using some sort of remote control software from a company. There's a lot of different companies out there that offer remote control software. I'm going to recommend you use TeamViewer. It's what I used for the longest time. You can use whatever you want. I just like TeamViewer because it's free, it gets the job done, and it's very easy to set up. So if you are interested in using TeamViewer as your remote control software for your money-making computers, you can go to the description and you can make an account with TeamViewer. I'll have a link for that. I'll also have a link to download their actual remote control host and client software. And all you have to do is install TeamViewer on each money-making computer you want to control, and then install TeamViewer on the computer you want to control your money-making devices through. By the way, they have a mobile app, so you can control your money-making computers from your iOS or Android device. Great. And then all your computers will come up on the menu as long as they're signed in and connected to the internet, and you can remote control your money-making computers with TeamViewer or any other remote software. The second option is the harder option that I actually started doing recently. I like this option because it works better for me. It makes things quicker, and I don't know why, but this is a good option also. So this involves using a VNC server and port forwarding on your router. It's not too hard to set up. I'll run through it with you. Basically, what you have to do is download VNC server, link in the description to that software, on all of your money-making computers. After that, you need to get the LAN IP address or the internal IP address of all your money-making computers. Then what you want to do is go to your router's login page, the router that all your money-making computers are connected to. And you'll have to look in your manual for the router in order to know which IP address you have to go to. Mine is 192.168.1.1. That is for ASUS routers. And then it's going to ask you to authenticate to actually log into the router. My default username is admin. You'll have to check your manual. Once again, it might be admin with your particular router. It might not be. And then the password to get in is either going to be a default password or the password that you use to actually connect to your router to use the internet on a normal day-to-day basis. Once you're in your router, you'll have to find the port forwarding menu. With the ASUS router, you have to go to WAN and then to virtual server and port forwarding. And then at the bottom, there is a port forwarding menu. And what you can do there is enter the device you want to forward. So you can put like money-making computer 1, whatever you want. You're going to enter the port you want to forward to the outside world. We'll get into how you're going to configure VNC server in order to make that to work in a little bit. Then you want to input that LAN IP address. If you need help finding your LAN IP address, you can check out my website. I have a little excerpt in the post about controlling your money-making devices on how to find your LAN IP address on each operating system, or you can just Google how to find my LAN IP address for my machine. Then after this, you'll enter the local port that the VNC software uses. Don't worry about this if you're using VNC server, just leave it blank. Then after that, leave protocol TCP and add that device. And now this computer is port forwarded. It means you can access this machine through that particular port from outside of your local network. We just have a few other configuration things we have to do. You got to open VNC server, you have to set a password, and you also have to make sure that the port to allow incoming connections from is set right in VNC server. So you're going to go to more, and then you're going to go to options, go to security, make sure you set as VNC password. I highly recommend you put a password, otherwise anybody with your IP address and the port can access that particular money-making computer. And once you set a password, then you have to go to connections, make sure you have checked allow connections over TCP, and enter the port that you forwarded. So this is the port where the incoming connections are allowed to come through in order to contact that particular machine with the VNC viewer. You forward a separate port for each money-making device, particularly anywhere between the port 5,900 and 6,000. That's usually what ports are used for VNC connections. And just a different port for each money-making device. In order to access that device, you need to use VNC Viewer. I'll have a link in the description for that software. And you enter your WAN IP address, which is your external IP. In order to find that out, just go on Google on your local network and type in "what is my IP address," and then it will show up, and copy that, enter it into the VNC software on an outside network, so use your phone or something on its LTE connection, and then put a colon, and then put the port you forwarded. If you did it right, it'll ask you for the password, and you input the password, and then there you'll have it. Your money-making computer screen will be on that other machine outside the network that you're using to control your money-making computer. And that is another way you can control your money-making computers, and that is my preferred way. It just seems quicker for me. It's also kind of a preview for what we're going to have to do for our iOS devices and Android devices in some cases. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was how to control your money-making computers. Stay tuned for more controlling iOS money-making devices and Android money-making devices. Any questions, you can let me know through social media or send me an email. I will talk to you guys later, and have fun making money with your devices. See ya. You to App Bounty's web app. And then from there, you're going to have to download an app called Bounty Bucks. This is on the App Store. Bounty Bucks is not really much of an app. It's simply a tunnel that will take you from your iOS device to the web app on App Bounty.